guys, welcome back to Piggy Pen's Tube, where tonight we are completing our Rita Berman lovely wintry picture. So this is in Meine, Reise, Durch, Europa, and it's a beautiful image. We did it in part 1 last weekend. Some people have already finished it actually, those that have been following along. And I say following along, but I really mean they just have me on it background while they're colouring. I don't think anybody's going to be copying what I'm doing. However, I have got the Prismacolor pencils that I've used listed in the description, should you want to know what they are. But I always encourage you to pick your own colour palettes, pick your own pencils, and just, yeah, do your own thing. Be creative. But if you want to colour along, that information's there for you. And if you hear anything in the background like that little squeak there, that's just Rocket playing with his toys. Rocket is always here keeping me company. And is there anything else I want to mention before we get started? I don't think so. So off camera I just completed this corner. I hope you don't mind. I was just conscious of how long this video might be. So we did the background in Neocolor 2 last week. I did 3 layers, 3 different colours. That were light blue, night blue and indigo blue. And then I used some Prismacolors in this background. So I'm taking the lightest blue here. I'll just show you my pencils that I'm using quickly so you can kind of see a loose kind of colour palette. And I have them, I have them swatched out like this. I used in part 1 some Caran Luminance, and actually I didn't enjoy them on this paper at all, so back to the drawing board with them. I need to practice more with my Luminance, I think. This is the first page that I'm doing, no, it's the second page I'm doing in Prismacolor, so I'm still getting used to Prismacolors as well. But I know you'll bear that in mind and be kind. This isn't a tutorial after all, it's just a colour along with me. Let's keep each other company. Alright, so how have you guys been? So it's been a week since we had a proper chinwag when I did the first bit of this page. Not a lot happens in my life to tell you exciting things, sadly, because I am not working at the moment. I have worked all my life actually until recently, but I'm taking some time out. You may know or not know, I don't have my own children, so I've never had the pleasure of some maternity leave, so I thought there's other reasons I'm not working at the minute, but nothing too concerning, just taking some time for myself, and I'm in no rush to find anything this year, nor next year, but we'll see how I go. I've got a very understanding husband who's happy to support me at the moment. And in return I give him an extremely happy wife and anything he wants, because he's an hard-working man, so why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Hey, saying that though, he does cook a lot for us, you know, even though he's at work full time. He loves cooking. I'm cooking tonight though. We're having steak again. We got a deal last time. I think last time I was recording we were having steak. It's because we got 4 steaks, so we're having another 2 tonight. He's on his way back from Ireland. Did I mention that I'm using PC1087 powder blue just to create some sort of shape to this snow on these trees? I don't know whether it's supposed to be snow, but it is in my world. So yes, the husband is currently on his way back from Ireland, where he has been delivering something. He's on his way back now. Do you know, yeah, it's a laugh at this. When he goes to Ireland on ferry, HGV drivers, I don't know whether you know, but the rules in UK are super strict. They have a tacho and it records everything they do. You know, they're not allowed to do any work in the breaks. They've got to make sure they get a certain amount of rest and all that sort of stuff. They're really, really strict. So the company that he works for is quite good. So when he gets booked on ferry, he gets his own little cabin. And it's only a 3-hour crossing to Ireland from England. He went from Holyhead in Wales. So it's only a 3-hour crossing, but he gets his own cabin, a meal, 3-course meal. And he loves it. He loves going to Ireland. But he went to Ireland yesterday and he phoned me and he says, I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming. I went, why? What's up? He says, they've got me booked on this ferry, and when I've turned up, the ferry that they were going to use is out of action for whatever reason. So they've had to use this blooming ferry that hasn't seen light of day for 10 years. He says it's absolutely tiny. He says, and the worst thing is I've got into my cabin and there's a bag in bed and a note that's telling us we've got to share cabins. got to share cabins with other drivers in HGV lounge or whatever it is. So yeah, they've just put 2 people together in the same cabin. Can you imagine that? I mean, there's women HGV drivers. I'm sure they must have had to consider that. So yeah, he had to bunk up with this Irish guy who'd just come back from delivering whiskey somewhere else, Irish whiskey somewhere, maybe in UK. And he had to bunk up with him and he said he didn't even let me have top bunk. And the worst thing is he's a terrible snorer and he's got sleep apnea. So he planned on getting his head down. He wears a mask and that in bed, you know, to help him so he doesn't stop breathing. So yeah, he had to bunk up with this total stranger. Crazy. I wouldn't have thought it were allowed, but yeah, apparently. Needs must, because they had to downsize in ferry. They didn't have a room for a cabin for everybody, so he were absolutely livid. Bless him. But then afterwards I phoned him and I said, how did you get on? He says, actually we're all right. We had a right good natter. But he will have missed having a bit of sleep. He wouldn't have felt comfortable sleeping because he snores really, really bad. Without being crude, not to mention things like toilet time, you know. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but it's quite the orchestra when my husband goes to the toilet, so I wouldn't have liked to have been his roommate on that ferry. Oh dear. So I'm just taking this blue and being a little bit, trying to be a bit more gentle today. I think I lost a little bit of confidence after part 1, you know. I weren't happy with my performance, how I were using the pencils. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I was disappointed in the Luminance as well. I kind of had a lot of faith in them from my previous use, but I just didn't enjoy them on this paper, and I think it threw me a little bit. I don't think I did my best colouring in part 1, which again is why I don't do tutorials as such. There's some things I can show you how I do things, you know, but I'm still pretty much experimenting and learning myself. So I'm just trying to take things, just be a little bit lighter of hand, because I wondered if that were part of the problem. Although the Prismacolors I quite enjoyed last time, I still think I weren't colouring not in the right frame of mind, but I think I was just a little bit thrown by the Luminance. All right, Rocket. I can't complain about Rocket, you know, he's been good as gold all day. Today's walk was the first walk I had to put a woolly hat and gloves on to go on field with him. So we've definitely got winter on the horizon. So I always think in the UK, I always see winter. I know there's meteorological seasons and there's calendar seasons, and then there's just what we all feel, isn't there? And I always feel December, January, February is winter. So 1st of December, that's winter to me. And obviously March, April, May is your spring, June, July, August is summer, and then autumn is September, October, November. And I just go by calendar rather than the official first day of whatever. So yeah, we're very, very nippy on the walk. Get some lovely bright sunny days though, don't you? It can be very, very cold, but bright sunshine, which is lovely. All right, I hear you huffing. Can't have all the attention all the time, you know. I did a practice live earlier. So I mentioned that I'm going to start doing a regular live once a week. Don't know which night of the week to go with yet. I think there might be some options for me to do later on a Tuesday, because I don't go to bed early, really. And I know I've got people in the US that watch, and all over the world, but I know a large part of my audience is US. UK, some Australians, Canada. So what I would like to do is maybe go a little bit later in a UK night. But I am also conscious of the other people that stream in the UK on evenings. So I think there might be an option for me to do like a 8:30 start on a Tuesday evening. Or a Saturday evening, a Saturday night. But then most people on a Saturday night have fun things that they're doing outside colouring, don't they? So we will see though. I'll try a few different slots to start with till I settle on one. But the reason I was practicing it today, I do want to get some proper software so I can do more professional lives, if you like, you know, so I can have like a be back soon screen and things like that. I haven't even begun to look into what's on offer in YouTube Studio and what I need, you know, extra software to do. I don't know, but I had a little go at just doing the straight YouTube live on my phone today, because this afternoon or this evening we're practicing today, because this evening, since we spoke last Friday, I've organised a full book collaboration, on RJ's Winter Wonder. So what this means is 50 of us are going to get together and we're each going to colour a page in it, and then I'm going to make a nice video of all the completed pages, and we're going to send it to RJ for Christmas. As a thank you for all his awesome art. So that'll be nice. So tonight I'm going to go live to draw using a randomizer who's got what page, so that'll be really fun, especially as it'll be the first time I've gone live properly apart from today's practice run. Question for you: do you guys leave white paper on the page? Have I asked you this before? I might have done. I'm just adding a little bit of white. Although, honestly, I would probably be happy just to leave the page. I think going around the edge of the blue, just to soften that edge a little, is not a bad idea. I think when we get to the end of the pencil colouring part of this page, I'll definitely be adding maybe a little bit of Posca, maybe some white gel pen, some, what's it called? Stickles! Some silvery stickles. I'm staying away from gold for this page. I want it to be cold. I want it to be cold and frosty. Yeah, I like that effect. I think I might add a little bit of grey. Let's see if I'm going overboard here. Let me add... Should have done this before the white. I'm just going to add a little bit of grey. This grey might be a bit dark. It's 70%. I'm being too lazy, not going back to my pencil case and getting out some lighter greys. Let's see what effect I can get from it if I just use a bit of a light touch. Sorry that I've stopped talking there. I just got really engrossed in what I were doing. So that's going to be a good little project that I've got going on between now and Christmas. This Merry Christmas RJ project. I make it sound like a job, don't I? It's not. It's going to be a pleasure. That book's wonderful, and I don't know which page I'd like to come out for me, but I have had requests from people. Not requests, but some people sort of saying, oh, I hope I get this page, I hope I get that page. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody gets the pages that they want. But we all agreed that you could colour any page in there and it's going to be a nice experience. And then I'm working on a big project to do for the colouring community, which you will find out about very early next year. And that's going better than I could ever have imagined. So definitely watch this space if you haven't if you haven't subscribed. Think about if you are somebody who likes to know, have the finger on the pulse of what's going on in colouring community. I would definitely subscribe because it's gonna be blooming awesome. Is what it's gonna be. I'll tell you all about it as soon as we've got New Year out of the way. But that's, aside from colouring, that's taking up quite a lot of my time. Aside from actually colouring pages. But yeah, that's a fun project that I'm working on. But a lot of planning work. But it's going to be fantastic. I promise you that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And I think I'll do something similar to that with these clouds, but I might, yeah, I probably will. I'll probably do something similar. Right, where do we want to head next on this picture? Let's have a look. We're getting to good stuff now. So this cabin, these trees, you know what I find difficult about these? Are they all going to be snow? I would have liked to have had a little bit of green on them. But the way the Rita's drawn them, I think they're supposed to be all snow, aren't they? I just saw something I wanted to rub out them, but it's left me. Oh. So we've got flowers. I want to think about mushrooms, flowers, bushes and leaves. And then this bit down here with the speckles on. This piece of grass. While I'm thinking about that, let's get some colour. Just a wee bit on these clouds. And you know what? It don't just have to be blue. I'm going to add some extra colour. Remember me saying in part 1, if you were with me then, that I was being quite brave because I like to colour trees green, you know, trees brown with green leaves. And I'm not doing that this time. I'm going to just I'm going to try be a bit more creative with colour and just a bit more, not childlike, but, you know, use joy when I'm picking my colours. Let joy lead me. Pick the colours that I fancy. I might come back actually to these clouds and add some different colours to the underside based on what colours I've got here. That's a good idea. So yeah, I will come back to those. You know, because sometimes you might want to reflect the colours you've got. So I might have a bit of green and purple in these clouds, but I might also have other colours. Let's go on to the house. I'm looking forward to this. And I think I'm going to choose to use, I could dip into my pencil case and get some browns, but actually I think I'd like to stick with the palette that I've chosen. And these are some lovely peachy, orangey tones. So we've got light peach and peach nectar, which looks a gorgeous colour, and mahogany red. So these four I'm going to use on this log cabin, and I'm just going to see it as wood and just go for it. So I'm going to start with my lightest colour and just get some base colour on. Just a first first layer. So at this point I'm just thinking about, I like to go in, and this is the same with polychromos as well. This is how sometimes with wax pencils, so like my Chromaflows, I'll work dark to light. But with polychromos I always work light to dark, and I think sometimes I just feel more comfortable doing that. So I'm going to get a kind of a loose base layer down, because first thing I want to do is kind of plot where my shade's going to be with my darker pencils. I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm embracing the winter more this year. And I don't know why that is. I'm really enjoying my dog walks with Rocket. And, you know, being out in fresh air. And I don't mind crisp weather. I just like to be prepared for it. As long as I'm warm and my feet are dry. I used to enjoy hiking a lot. In fact, I might show you some pictures of me climbing. I like to make it sound like I'm climbing a mountain. I mean, some of the hills in the UK are classed as mountains, I think. And I went to the highest point in England. That's called Scafell Pike. And I went up there. I took my best friend up, both completely unfit 40-somethings. And we did it one day, and it was a massive achievement, and we were absolutely blessed that when we got to the top there was not a soul around, and for a whole 15-20 minutes there were not a soul. It was just the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful experiences in my life. And as we got to the top of the mountain, some RAF planes flew over, and they were so, because they were flying low and we were walking high, they were so close. It was just absolutely one of the most exhilarating things I've ever experienced. It was wonderful. And then I also hiked up Snowdon, which is the highest point in Wales. But that is a lot busier. Snowdon is very, not touristy, but you're not going to have Snowdon to yourself. And it's a bit of a, sadly, it's a bit like Everest now. You're queuing when you get to the top, which is just not what I am into hiking for at all. I go hiking to not see human beings, you know. I want to see just nature, what the world looked like before we touched it. That's what I go for. So I also, not so much these days, but I'd say 2016, in an effort to get over my mum's passing, I started hiking. And so from 2014, 2015, right up to maybe 2020, I was hiking a lot, but also wild camping. I absolutely love wild camping, where you just take yourself off to a high point. If you're going to camp in this country, in UK, not in Scotland, sorry, in England, you're supposed to ask the landowner's permission below a certain height, you know. So if you're up a mountain, you don't have to. But nobody does that. We just, you know, try and be respectful, because there's nobody, you don't know who owns the land. It's moorland for the most part. Do you get what I mean? Or it'll be a mountain or something, so you don't know who really owns the land when you're wild camping. But yeah, I used to wild camp a lot on my own as well. I had my own single person setup. I had like super lightweight tent and everything. I love it. Waking up, you know, up a big hill on a morning with a cloud inversion. It's just one of the best experiences. It's a shame I don't do it more now. I've let myself get a little bit unfit. You know, so I've aged a lot physically, I would say, over the last 5 years. Life has kicked my ass, I'm afraid to say. It really has. And it shows in my fitness and things like that. My energy levels. But yeah, I love wild camping. One of my favourite things to do. I'll show you a picture when I took my husband, because he's always been quite fit, but he wanted into hiking. But I kind of got him into it a little bit, so he came on a few hikes with me. And we wild camped at a place in Pennines called Hike Up Nick. And it's a crevice carved out of the land by a glacier, you know, billions of years ago or whatever. It's just the most spectacular thing. And we went way back from Scotland. We decided to stop off there, and we wild camped on New Year's Eve. And it was just the most spectacular. The way the sun fell that night, it was just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. So yeah, I kind of miss that a little bit. So I'm just kind of mapping out where my darker areas are going to be with one, you know, an extra layer. Sorry, a first layer of my next darkest colour. See, I think in part one I was trying to use my Prismas, because you know, I'm learning, the new to me, so I always hear people talking about smushing them together, and I think I was just a bit heavy-handed, when actually I'm just going to apply what I normally do when I'm colouring with my polys or any pencil, what I feel feel most comfortable doing, and that's just working in lighter layers, I think. And I think I said last week, I'm not having a specific strong light source from anywhere. I'm just having light all around. So the moon is here somewhere. I think it's going to be night time in this picture. I think now I've done that, it is. I always say picture, don't I, when I should say page. How did I get on to talking about hiking anyway? I'm sure I was probably talking about something else and I went on a tangent. The problem is I don't know, I can't remember now, so I don't know if I've left you with half a tale told. This is Nectar PC1092. Oh, this is a lovely colour, isn't it? Just going to darken up the underneath of this. There's a name for it, isn't there? Gable, is it? Gable end? I'm not going to press too hard though, I'm going to resist that because I want to go in with a darker colour, I think, still. Yeah, I am enjoying the Prismas. But after, in fact, it was after I'd done part one of this picture, part one of this page, I immediately wanted to go back to my polys, so I started a picture. started a page. I started a page in polychromos, and I'm really enjoying it. And I dare say I'm going to eventually feel about Prismacolors and wax in general like I do about my polys. It's just going to take a little bit more time for me to get used to them and find my kind of you know, style with them. I've already had 2 people send me the completed pages, so they were gorgeous as well. Both of them were gorgeous, and I can't wait to put that video together. That's if anybody has actually completed this page. I think people are. It'll look awesome when they're all together, I think. So yes, I'm having some peachy wood. What colour are you doing your cabin? Are you doing it wood coloured, or are you going crazy and letting your imagination go wild a little bit with colour? Oh, do you know what? While we're here as well, I need to say hello to some people who, don't think it was this video, but one of my, I think it was my colouring confessions video. I left a little thing in that video. So if you left a certain phrase in the comments, I would give you a shout out. So I want to say hello once again to Derek, who is my friend from Chromatic Collective Facebook group, which welcomed me wonderfully when I first started colouring. So that's Derek, and his Instagram is the _colouring_merce, spelt the US way. I also want to give a shout out to another lady who's got a fantastic channel, Jennifer at Told You Woods Colours. So I owe her a hello. Hello, Jennifer, if you're watching. I'm sure you won't be. You are far too busy with all the colouring you've got going on with your Alice in Wonderland tag and everything. But hello anyway. Tamara Wise, hello to you. Thank you very much for watching. Kath Colours Pages. Hello, Kath. We've previously buddied and we're buddying again this month, I think, aren't we? Thank you so much for watching that video. I want to say hello also to Kathy_in_colour. Kathy in Colour. Hello, thank you for watching. Hollyberry Colours, hello. Hi Holly, you got a massive shout out last time, I think, didn't you? Because Holly's channel is fantastic. If you've not found it yet, she's a new YouTuber, but she's got bags of colouring experience, years and years and years, so check her out. Hollyberry Colours. And lastly, this is a talented lady on Instagram, Silent Fox. Hello, Silent Fox. Thank you guys for watching that video. I love it when you've stayed right till the end and you've spotted that little phrase. And you give me a shout in my comments. And then I can return it to you in my next video. I love it. Don't always do it, but sometimes I do. And I love it when people spot it. This darker colour is that mahogany red, so I'm just using that as, you know, to indicate shadows. And again, these are just my first layer of these colours. See, again, at the moment it looks a bit, well, to my eye, because I'm used to colouring in more traditional colours. It stands out quite a bit, but I think when we're going to spread these colours throughout the rest of the page, aren't we? So that will give us some cohesion. I'll deal with these logs when I get the main part of the cabin done. I have got a little bit of very quiet music. It's on #1 volume on the TV, which is this way, next to me. I like to put those cosy scenes on, you know, on YouTube, where there's like a log fire or just a beautiful scene somewhere. And I change it, you know, I watch all sorts, but they're always seasonal. So I've got a nice log fire, big glass windows in the cabin. Snow outside is falling, and I've got this little bit of jazz playing. So I hope, I mean, it's on volume 1. I hope it's not annoying you. You probably can't even hear it. I wouldn't imagine you could hear it. It's that quiet. But it's nice for me. I'm liking my cabin so far. I like how this nectar is kind of buffing out that red a little. Taking the edge off it. Right, I think I'd just like to add a little bit of definition to the wooden planks. Before I take another look at it, step back and have another look and see what it needs. How's November going for you? We're halfway through, guys. You've got a lot of buddies lined up. I've got quite a few. Quite a few. I've only done one page so far this month that I've not really been pleased with myself about. I've done quite a few pages so far. I feel like I'm on track anyway. Just about on track. For me, you know, because I had a goal, didn't I? A name, which you probably know about. I won't bother going over it again. But yeah, in regards to that goal, I feel like I'm on track. But yeah, I did one page in Ocean to Stars, Sagittarius page, and I weren't right pleased with it. And I think I just let... I don't know, I think I was toying with whether to include a certain colour in my colour palette, because it's a horoscope thing, so I wanted to use the palette that the horoscope said, you know, the colours for Sagittarians was dark blue and purple, but it also said the stone was a turquoise, you know, precious stone. So I wanted to kind of thought, can I get away with putting turquoise with these two colours? And I just don't think it worked. And then not only that, I wish I'd have done it in pencil and I didn't. I did it in, because it's one of those books where there's a little something on one side of the book that you can kind of forget about, you know, and use alcohol marker on the page on this side, because on the reverse there's just a little something about the next page, kind of like an RJ book. So I elected to use alcohol marker, and you just have days like that, don't you? You can't put your finger on what, but you just didn't do your best colouring. That's just as simple as it is. And we all have pages like that. I think, if we're honest, I know that was a page for me, and I did enjoy it, but I don't enjoy the end result when I look at it. I know I could have done so much better. It's like, I'll be honest, for the standard I'm at now, it doesn't indicate that standard. I don't feel so. But when that happens to me, and it does, I just think I'm just going to do more awesome next time. I'm just going to make myself more proud of myself next time. It's just a chance to, you know, an opportunity to try again with something different and just, you know, blow my own socks off. Because I love impressing myself. It's lovely when I get good feedback off you guys who I show my work to. But when I know myself, if I've done a good page, I'm like, I did a Kirby page at the start of this month and I am so bloody proud of it. So proud of it. I'm so chuffed with myself. It's only its second Kirby page I've ever done. And I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. And I love the result. I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm not always hard on myself. Sometimes I give myself very good pats on the back. This is coming together now a little bit, isn't it, this house? Just deepening where I feel it needs it. Yeah, I think this is a better approach for me. Don't overthink how you use Prismas, Joe. Just use them however it feels natural to do so. And I think if I carry on doing that, I'll get better. I think I'd like to take this red just a touch higher with a very light hand, like that. There we go. I've already started receiving birthday presents through the post. Can't quite believe it from my new lovely colouring friends. I'll show you. I've got myself some new stuff as well recently, and I've always said I wouldn't really do hauls, and I don't really want to even call them hauls, but that's essentially what it is. I've got a few new bits recently that I might as well show you. Some bits that I'm not that impressed with, so I might do a little video. I just don't like selling, you know, I'm never going to sell to you, but if I've got a product that I'm not impressed with, I might as well tell you about it, haven't I? In case you want to know before you buy. So I bought myself a couple of things, and I've been gifted a couple of things, and I was so blown away. So blown away. People are so kind. You can't get mad at them as well when they say it's a birthday gift. You have to just suck it up and accept it. So would these be made from the same? Oh, I'm overthinking it again, aren't I? Would these be made from the same wood as the cabin? Or have they been chopped down from a different tree? I don't think I need to think about it that much, do I? Might have to sharpen these pencils again, Joe. Stop being lazy. It's not so much laziness, is it? It's when I sharpen a pencil, I can literally see pennies. Pennies going into my tray at the bottom of my sharpener. These are looking a bit too round. I need them to look flatter. I need to address that. So my shading there has made these into balls. So if I were colouring cranberries, I'd have done an excellent job. But I'm not. I'm colouring log ends. So I'm just gonna again knock it back with a little bit of this paler colour. Because I put shading on one side, so it made it look spherical. So don't do that, Joe. I meant to kind of just have an indication of darkness on the underside, but I think what I'll do instead is I need to just have them stand out a little bit from the cabin by just shading a little more in the cabin. I think that would be a good idea. I might use a bit of that grey that I had. Where's that grey? Could maybe use some analogous colours to shade these bits. That's the thing at the moment, isn't it? Well, it's always been a thing, but it's a thing that people are talking about for some reason at the moment. There we go. So that's kind of achieved what I wanted to achieve. These don't look like the ends of logs yet. I'm going to chew on them a little bit, you know, think it over. But for now, I just wanted to see them separated with some shading from the cabin. I'll come back to them later on. Probably something I can do with some gel pen in there, isn't there? Just put some like little swirly bits on the end. Now then, what colour would my chimney be? How about a little terracotta colour? I don't know what kind of, would it be what would it be on a log cabin? Would it be a steel chute? Okay, I've got these two from I've got a run of 4 pinks there, and these are 2 colours from that. PC1017 is Clay Rose, PC1019 is Rosy Beige. I love these 2 colours. In Chromaflows as well, you've got an Ash Rose and another colour that's very much like these. They're lovely. Something else that happened this week is, I don't know if you're familiar with Wendy, Jazzy Doodle Designs. Her Hannah Carlson full book collaboration, not with collaborating with Hannah Carlson, collaborating with other colorists. So what I was just talking about there with RJ doing that in Winter Wonder, that's where I got the idea from. I know somebody did it in a Kirby book when I just was starting getting into colouring. I think I've never seen it actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I'm sure somebody, was it Caran at My Colourful Country Life? I can't remember who did it. Tell me in the comments if you can remember who did the Kirby one where they each coloured a page from something. So it was essentially, they could show it as a full colouring book completed. But Jazzy's has just been completed, so I think she's sent that off to Hannah now for Hannah's pleasure, and it looked fantastic. So I had a page in there and I did the Christmas tree. There's a page that's just a Christmas tree with some candles on, so that was my page, and I was so lucky to get in because I didn't know anything about it till I heard Derek talking about it actually in Chromatic Collective. A few of them people were in on it. So I emailed Wendy and said, if anybody drops out, will you consider me? And she went, of course I will. She was lovely. She's lovely. And lo and behold, somebody did. So 2 days before the deadline, I think, I got an email off Wendy, and I was dead happy. So I quickly did that picture, sent it to Wendy, and now she's made a lovely video out of all the pages. It looks fantastic, so check that out, Jazzy Doodle Designs, if you don't already follow her, or subscribe to her, should I say, on YouTube. Jazzy Doodle Designs, Wendy. Yeah, it's a fantastic video. It's lovely when you see everybody's work like that. And that's what we're going to do with the RJ thing. I can't think of an illustrator who deserves it more than to see his book fully coloured. And it's a lovely thing for us to do. God, he's got loads of fans. When I put the shout out to see if anybody were interested in doing that as a little project, I filled it. I think within 24 hours it was filled. All spaces filled. Because he is much loved. So he is. Tell me what's been going on in your colouring world. It's funny, because in comments people will always say, oh, I had answers to loads of your questions that you ask. And by the time video's finished, I've forgotten what I wanted to answer. And I'm the same. I listen to videos and I have lots of things to say. So now I have to keep, I have a notepad, you have a notepad thing on your phone. As I'm watching video, I just type in what I want to say about at little points. That's how I've been getting around it. It sounds daft, but I don't want to forget to tell people, what I think of this, that and other when they're showing me the pages and stuff. So, yeah, I know I ask a lot of questions. I think I'm just naturally curious. Naturally curious. Want to go a little bit darker there, so let me see what I've got without getting... How about a little bit of black grape? Yes, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I very rarely go back to my pencil case. Just pure laziness. It's less than 2 feet away from me, but Once I've pulled my pencils, I've pulled my pencils. I was reading a bit about wax bloom today. I don't know what I learned. I don't know whether I have it. From what I understand, wax bloom is something that can appear like in about a week after you've finished your page, maybe, or you've left whatever you've done in wax, like a white film that appears. I'd never heard of it. Well, I had heard of it, but I'd never looked into what it was until today. So now I know, so I'll keep my eye open for that happening on pages that we've completed. Because I must admit, I put my page away once I've taken, you know, we've had a photo shoot. Put my page away in my book. And I won't think to look at it again, unless I suppose there's reason. Which is a shame. All my pictures of all my pages are on my phone anyway, and I think it's just quicker, isn't it, to go. We find it quicker, don't we, in this day and age, just to go look at digital photos. I'm going to go back to the cabin colours now, because I want to take some of these colours over here a little. And I think this mushroom is a good place, or here. What are these? What are these little things? Like seed heads, aren't they? Yeah, so these look like little seed heads. Nature's blooming fascinating, isn't it? I got into gardening a few years ago and grow my own veg and all that jazz. I like to plant a lot of flowers that I grow from seed. And it's just fascinating. Nature will survive. You know, it's really anything like, for example, oh, what's them blooming rambling flowers that I've got loads of them in garden round late summer, autumn. They absolutely love pumpkin season. Oh, they're blooming called. It's going to do me head in that. Trying to remember. But anyway, they come back every winter, because obviously they drop the seeds, they form the flower, and then you lose your flower and your petals, and then the seed heads formed, and then as they die, they release all the seeds, don't they? That's the cycle of flower life. And those seeds go into the ground and they give us new plants next year. If they survive the winter, that is. Perennials. And it's just never fails to surprise me what can come up, what can survive the winter and, you know, reproduce, and then we see them again in spring. It's a lovely, lovely thing. Nasturtiums. I knew it had come to me. Nasturtiums. Yeah, it's amazing how many nasturtiums came back this year from last year. I love poppy seed heads. Rattle, and the little poppy seeds fall out of them if you shake them. I love them. We like a bit of foraging. We only forage really for one thing at a certain time of year, like April time, April, May, I think. We forage for wild garlic. We've got a couple of nice walks down by our local canal. And there's a bit of a woodland outside, and you get so much wild garlic growing. It smells amazing. So we go and we forage some wild garlic. I enjoy it in a risotto or something like that. But yeah, I like a bit of foraging. And obviously blackberries. The field where I take Rocket for his walk. Get lots of blackberries growing around there in August time. So I had lots of blackberries this year. So we've got a cherry tree in next door's garden, but it hangs half over our garden. So we always pick some cherries off that and make cherry pies. We love some cherry pie. That's always delicious. I don't live in a very, I make it sound like I live somewhere that's really lovely. I don't. I live in quite a, how would I describe it? In UK, if you're from UK, you'll know the term I mean if I say rough. I live in quite a rough area of South Yorkshire. A lot of crime, not on my street because it's one of those things. There's honour amongst thieves, and I don't think they tend to, you know, this area I live in contains a lot of criminals, but they don't tend to commit the crimes on the doorstep. So I've always felt very safe here. I haven't been here that long, but I've always felt very, very safe. I'm more scared going out and away, you know, like if I went, I mean, I don't need to go on a bus, I can drive, but anything where I'm mixing with public scares life out of me these days, because you just don't know who's going to knife you in blooming neck or something. But yeah, so I live in quite a, you know, like and you know, all crime-ridden areas, it stems from poverty. So people trying, you know, on breadline might have not got the education they might have wanted, and didn't get the best jobs. There's all sorts of reasons people end up struggling to make ends meet. That's just one. There's people who did get the full education and just things haven't worked out. Life can just knock you on your butt, can't it? For sure. But yeah, there's a lot of people struggling in this area, a lot on benefits. People working outside, you know. It's just, I don't judge. It's just how life is, isn't it? My mum had such a strong work ethic, and my dad did as well. They were never out of work ever. Never claimed any benefits or anything like that, and they didn't have an anti-benefits thing, but they did have a strong work ethic, so they kind of drilled it into me and my brother that, you know, do well at school, make sure you're giving yourself the best start when you start working and stuff. And I'm glad they did. My husband's a good tradesman. He's been a bathroom fitter for years and then a mechanic. And he's even done his electrical course and that, so he's dead handy around the house. So he's always been a grafter. And I've had all sorts of different jobs. It's a rough area in which I live. But we keep a nice home, you know. Our home is small and modest, but we keep it nice, and it's ours, it's our home. We don't own it, we rent us, but yeah, it's not a bad place to live. People are friendly. But yeah, when I'm saying, oh, we go foraging for wild garlic and we've got a cherry tree, you know, it just happens to be that the case that we live close to some beautiful places, some nice woodland. And my garden's lovely in the back because it's like a little allotment. If you're not from this country, I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you would call it in your country. But in the UK, we have areas of land called allotments, and basically the council own the land more often than not, and they will rent you a small piece of land which you can grow things on, like vegetables and maybe flowers. But you have to keep it up. You know, you can't just let it go to weedy and all that sort of stuff. But I don't have an allotment, but I've turned my back garden into like most of it, 2/3 of it is like an allotment, but a pretty one, if you know what I mean, a pretty allotment. Just going to go in with a bit more of that black grape again, because I kind of like that colour, just to give a little bit more depth there. In that shadow area. Have you got Rita's new book? What do you think of it? Do you love it? I had a look. I waited for a flip through for a change, because normally I have a knee-jerk reaction, because I like the books that I've got to Rita's. I really like them. So normally I would just order it, but something about the cover, I thought, maybe this isn't going to be for me. And when I looked, I sort of flipped through and it wasn't for me, so I'm glad I waited for a change. I appreciate how awesome it is and how gorgeous it is, and I love looking at it, but it's just that I won't want to colour in it. I'd rather look at it as a piece of art. Right, what are we on to next? Let's do some mushrooms. And I think I'll stick with these colours in my hand at the moment. Just while I do, I think I'm going to use these colours on the stem of this mushroom. I've hardly seen any YouTube this week. But one thing and another, I've seen bits and bats. I'm watching it in bed, but I haven't watched as much in the day. Because I've just been a little busier. And over the weekend my husband was here, so he will sit and watch YouTube, colouring YouTube with me, but he's watching Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. He's enjoying that. We're watching together, we've just finished that first season of Chad Powers, not Brad. Chad Powers. I don't know the actor's name that's in it, but I've really, really enjoyed it. Tell me if you've seen it. Chad Powers on, God, I don't know what it is. Could be, Disney. I think it's on Disney. Yes, it is. It's on Disney. Chad Powers. I think it's the guy. I think he played. Did he play the Ice Man in the new Top Gun film? I must admit, I'm talking to a predominantly female audience, and I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, but I've always kind of socialised and had a lot of male interests. I don't mean males interested in me. I mean, like I used to race motocross bikes, that were predominantly male. And then I ran a business and raced to do with, and where I raced, RC cars, radio control cars. That's another story entirely. So yeah, I've always kind of, and I kind of like some guy films. So like, I loved the new Top Gun movie. I thought it was brilliant. So sometimes you might hear me talk about things that don't interest you. That's a normal female. Or maybe I'm stereotyping. Do you like Top Gun? My husband got me into a lot of good films. He's a big Will Ferrell fan. I really enjoyed, things like Talladega Nights and Anchorman and things like that. I love those daft movies. And one of my favourite funny movies is Tropic Thunder. I absolutely love Tropic Thunder. Don't think it's going to be everyone's cup of tea. If you're easily offended by anything, do, you know, just stay away from that one. I would. Oh, I love that colour under there. That's lovely. Well done, Jo. Right, moving on. What colour shall we do the cap? Let's move away from these colours. I'm clearly getting a little bit addicted to them. Let's move away from the cap. What colour do we want? I want to introduce some more blue. Would we have a blue mushroom? Well, we're gonna now. Oh my god. I never thought in my life I'd be having a blue mushroom. Right, so I'm going to work with some blues. Look at me. A blue mushroom. Why? Because why not? Will I regret it? Maybe. Yeah, I'm feeling much more comfortable now. I'm just not trying to use them a certain way. I'm just using them whatever way I feel more natural using them. And that is to use them a little bit more like I would use my polys, I think. That's not to say I'm not going to experiment with other sort of ways of using them. But what colour do I want my spots? My blue mushroom. That Colouring Confessions tag's gone wild, hasn't it? There's loads of people making those videos now, which is wonderful because I think it's one of the best video ideas I've seen in a while. So well done to Shell's Colouring Journey. Shelley. Fantastic idea, because who don't love talking about the books? And don't be waiting, you know, if you've got a channel yourself, or why don't you, if you've got an Instagram and you're interested in, like, not just showing your pictures but maybe a bit of content creation, why don't you just translate it to Instagram? So maybe you could take a few questions and do a few posts on some Instagram, you know, short form videos. If it's something that you're interested in. Not everybody likes creating content. Some people just like watching it, and that's fine, absolutely fine. But yeah, if you do fancy it, just, you know, go for your life. Don't wait to be tagged, just do it. I tag you, I'm tagging you. You're officially tagged. So what do I think to this blue mushroom? The jury is still out. What colour am I going to do spots? I think I might want to do spots a similar colour to what I've done the stem. I'm going to bring in a bit of this deep sea, maybe. I'm going to try a little bit. Deep sea from Derwent Chromaflow. This is like a marine blue colour. I've got it in background here. I'm going to use that for a little bit of shading. Rita's one of these amazing colourists that uses so many. I mean, she would shade. I don't know how she does it, but you could be using a different colour, couldn't you, to shade like your red? Oh yeah. Oh, is this what Rita does, or is it just actually? Am I going to live to regret this? Am I going to live to regret this? I'm sorry if I get too relaxed and I stop enunciating properly, because I feel like I'm just talking to myself. I feel like I'm talking to myself. because I'm just talking to myself when I'm sat here. So yeah, sorry if I keep going a little bit where I talk under my breath or I mumble a bit. I really don't mean to. It's just because I'm sat here on my own, relaxed, totally chilled. I sometimes forget. Yeah, I didn't mind adding that little bit of a different colour. It's all about experimenting this page for me. That's how it's turning out anyway. Just letting myself do what I want, when I want. I'm going to do my next colour along though. I'm going to do it something that I'm a lot more comfortable with, because I would like, well, I would like you to really like the end result. I mean, you might like this, but do you know what I mean? I want to show my best work in these colour alongs if I can. So if this isn't it this time, don't, as I always say to you, please give me a free pass on this one and come back for another one, because I'm going to use some media I'm more comfortable with next time. I'll show you what I'm working on at the moment. Actually, I think it's going quite nice. This is one of my favourite books that I own, All About the Dog by Martin Berry. And this is a buddy I'm doing with Marcy Miller. And it's, I don't know whether you can see it because I'm quite zoomed in, but it's an English Springer Spaniel sitting in loads of leaves. And I'm using it as a bit of polychromos practice really. So I'm using polys on it, and I'm really taking my time and colouring every leaf. Just trying to work on my techniques with polys. So yes, I really like some of these leaves I've done. I'm just starting to, and I've done the same, you know, the same leaves. I've coloured them in the same way, so all the same type of leaf. And I've just started on these type of leaves, and I love those colours together. I don't know whether they're correct with nature, but I don't even know whether it looks how it does. Cameras are rubbish and lighting, but yeah, I love what I'm doing with that. So yes, I'm enjoying that one. It's crazy. I think before we know it, we'll be doing another completed pages video. I think take some of this powder blue here as well, just on this side of it. Well, I said to you last time, I always work this corner to this corner. I've not done that at all. I've gone all over, haven't I? So I am seeing these little spots as raised, as if they're raised up from the mushroom. So I've put a little shadow on the back end of them, which I may darken a little bit with this blue. My tummy's rumbling. I'm ready for some nosh. I'm ready for some nosh. I like me little blue mushroom. Yeah, you'll do for me. You'll do for me. I think I want a little bit more, shadow. Just around here. Yeah. Yes. Do like a little bit of contrast. Gorgeous. Alright, this flower next. I'm going to have some pinks, I think. Let's have a go with some of these more traditional pinks. So we have got, in addition to those buffy ones, I've got Rose Deco, no sorry, Deco Pink in English. Pink Rose. So let's see what I can do with these on this flower. Somebody's alarm's going off outside, can you hear it? Somebody's car alarm. It's them criminals I was talking about. Oh, it's not my husband's bike, is it? One sec. If I don't come back, phone the police. We don't tend to, as next door neighbours on each side, we make sure that we know. And they're both nice, both sides, both working people. They're both people just like us, really, just normal folk. So when we go away, they put us bins out and things like that for us. But we don't really know a lot of the other neighbours, we just kind of keep to ourselves. On the other side of, and I don't want you to think Yorkshire's all like that if you're not from this country. Yorkshire's actually one of the most beautiful counties in England, and we call it fondly, it's known as God's own country. It's so, you know, beautiful. Yorkshire Dales are stunning. Yorkshire Moors are stunning. Absolutely gorgeous countrysides and rural areas. But it's just inner city life, isn't it? It's city life. So we live in a small town on the outskirts of a larger city. That's just city life, just urban life, isn't it? I wish I lived out in sticks, somewhere rural. That'd have always been my dream. Grow my vegetables. We're all on top of each other. And I'm sure this is the same in areas of your country. But, for example, sometimes when I'm watching TV, my true crime documentaries, a lot of which are set in America, and it shows different communities, and I always think the houses look really far apart on the roads, and I think, God, they've got loads of blooming gardens area, and the houses back onto woods. And obviously it's not going to be like that everywhere. You've probably got places like this where you're in like a little blooming shoebox connected to another two shoeboxes in we call them terraced houses, where your houses are all connected. And then we have obviously not double glazed, semi-detached houses where there's just two houses stuck together. But sometimes watch things in America and I think, wow, it seems like everybody lives in a right nice blooming house with a wooden porch and all that. But it's the movies, isn't it? I know it's not really all like that. It's just the movies. Did anybody watch the Ed Gein series with what's his name? Bumming hell, I've forgotten who it is now. Is it Channing Tatum? Who was it? It's not Channing Tatum, is it? Would it him out of Sons of Anarchy? Why have I started this conversation when I don't even know what I'm talking about? I watched the first episode anyway. Thought it were alright, but it obviously didn't appeal to me that much because I know the story anyway, so... But I thought he looked like him. You know, he had it with the help of what they'd done to him to get him into character. I did think he looked like him. I'm wrestling with this flower a bit. That's why I'm a bit quieter, because I'm like, what the heck is going on with this? Don't know. I don't find it easy colouring Rita's pages. I don't. I think this is what I'm realising. Like a normal, quite a normal flower wouldn't have me so stumped. Oops. Yeah, it's a funny thing, because I love that part there that I've just done on that mushroom. I love, and then that, I just, ugh, what is going on with that? I don't, it's like I don't know what to do with the form of that. Like, this looks like a mushroom. It looks like it has 3D shape. Just the illustration itself, I mean. This just looks flat, doesn't it? So how do I make it not look flat? I need to colour more, don't I? I need to do what we supposedly do best, which is colour. But yeah, I must admit, I'm not getting on with this flower. I don't like it. Don't like it. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna be so fascinated and happy to see the finished pages, people from this, because I think it'll be good for me, you know, to sort of see how other people have tackled things. For sure, excuse me, yawning. Blooming neck. That's because I'm hungry, that. I always get like a bit tired if I'm hungry as well. Come on, love, where are you? I want to start cooking tea for us. Don't know what I feel about these white dots on it. You can see me struggling, can't you, with the fact it's not realistic. Need to break out of that. Push myself a bit more. What colour? Do you know what? We'll do them. I'm going to do them, these little markings on it, shiny. I'm going to have shiny bits when I get to end of the page. Put a little bit of light pink in them. But yeah, I'm probably going to embellish a little bit. These are my green options. Got PC289, which is very, very pale grey-green light. I've got PC1021, which is jade green, and PC1020, which is celadon green. Of course, flower stalks don't have to be green. But you know, we have to make changes slowly. Let me have a green flower stalk. God blimey, I do use this blue a lot. I have to be keeping my eye out on some open stock. Let's move on to, I'm going to do this flower. the page gets so much muckier, doesn't it, with wax pencils. I don't have to say my usual disclaimer, do I? Do I? I know that every pencil has both wax and oil and other properties within the car. When I say wax, I just mean those that are made up of mainly wax. When I say oil, I mean those that are just made up of mainly oil. And, you know, for people who remind me of that in comments, I can't blame them, because it might be the first time they've watched. They might not think I realise that. You know, when I kind of flippantly, casually call Prisma a wax pencil. Thank you ever so much for getting back to me when I asked. Quite a few people gave me some names of some YouTubers in other parts of the world. I was asking last time, I think, about creators in Asia, potentially Africa. We've got a nice lady in South Africa, Leanne 3 Crafts. Leandre. And she's in South Africa. Another accent that I love. I've got a buddy with her this month, actually. And it's really in season for her, I think. But totally out of season for me. So I'm going to look forward to it, actually. It'll be a nice change. We've got a really happy, summery dessert van. Like a Volkswagen van. Like a catering van. And it's got like desserts and drinks on it. And that's in Worlds of Wonder by Johanna Basford. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. It'll be a nice break from all this wintry stuff. That's what we have to remember when we're buddying with each other as well in different hemispheres. You know, they're probably going into their summer now. Try and keep in mind, although it is difficult, isn't it, when you're faced with the weather that you're faced with. But I do try and keep that in mind. So yes, Australians have their Christmas in sunshine, don't they, I think. I mean, I'd be interested to know, right, what is that like? I can imagine it's pretty cool in a lot of ways, but is everything in your country still, like, for example, are all your Christmas cards covered in snow? If you send Christmas cards, or Christmas cards that you buy, or in Australia, is Santa Claus on most Christmas cards in his, I don't know, swimming trunks or bathing suit? Does everything still have an association to snow and cold weather? Does Christmas, you know what I mean? Is Christmas still associated with cold weather in your country and you just have to put up with it? Because whatever reason. And do you still eat a big roast dinner like us, even though you're in really hot weather? That's the husband, he's home. I'm going to take a little break here. It will be a matter of seconds for you, so don't go away. We're going to finish this page today. Don't know when I'm going to come back to it, but for you, it'll be one sitting. I think we're doing all right. I could do with upping the speed a little bit just because I'm doing it for my channel as well. Oh, I can hear the clink of bottles there. I think he's brought me a bottle of wine home. Here he is coming in the door now. He knows I'm filming, so I bet he'll be reasonably quiet. Although he doesn't have to be. He's welcome to make as much noise as he wants in his own home. He's singing, so he must be in a good mood. Just doing this little bit and then I'll be off. Hello, husband.
Hello, my beautiful wife.
I told you we knew our filming, didn't I? Don't let him fool you. He knows he's been recorded.
I didn't.
Bless him. God love him. I love him. Love him to bits. Are you ready for some food?
What?
Are you ready for some food?
Yeah.
You hungry? I've just been telling him about you having to sleep with that other man.
Don't let her fool you. She don't always cook for me.
Told him that. Yeah, I've been telling him about you having to sleep with that other chap on the ferry.
Irish Steve?
Irish Steve, yeah.
You know best mate?
New best friend. Well, you can't fail to become best buddies if you're sleeping in bunk beds. Right, I'll be back in a while. Liking this flower.
That were alright till I come out of the shower and I caught him sniffing my underpants.
You join me the following morning. By the powers of YouTube, we have fast forwarded to the next day, and I'm about to carry on. What I have realised though is I'm a very slow colourist. I recorded 2 hours and all I've got done is a mushroom, a few flowers, a few clouds. I think I'm chatting too much. So if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little bit off camera just so I've got some space left on my phone for the end of this colour along. I might have to resign myself to the fact that I am quite slow and my colour alongs might have to be 3 parts. I'm still finding my feet as to what works. You know, I've never done anything for YouTube before this, so yeah, just bear with me on that. But I'm going to do a few of these. I dare say you're not copying my wonderful techniques. So I'm going to do a few of these off camera just to save a little bit of space on my phone, and I will be sure to come back for the last few bits and certainly all the finishing touches. So yeah, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a flash. Okay then, do you want to see what I've been working on? Ta-da! So I've done quite a little bit down here off camera, whilst reserving a little bit of space on my phone, and also just not distracting myself with chin wagging all the time. But I know you guys, a lot of you are listeners as well as watchers, and I think the majority probably just listen. So I hope you don't mind that I skipped along a little bit. I want to tell you about a couple of things though, that I'm really, really chuffed about. On the whole, you know, I was sort of saying, certainly in part 1 last week, I was saying, you know, hang in there because it is going to get better. I've got a good feeling about it towards the end. And I had, and I don't have any worries about it now. I'm glad I persevered and didn't let it stress me out too much, because I said to you, didn't I, once I've brought in these colours and, you know, around this bit, it was going to have more cohesion, and I think it has now. I'm really, really chuffed with it. So I have struggled with it though. I'm getting used to Prismas. I've only coloured in Rita Berman books twice. We talked about what I find puzzling about her illustrations sometimes and how that can kind of throw me a little bit. So I have found that as well. But some positive points. You know, one of the things that I wanted to achieve with this page was to try and keep my mind open when it comes to colouring nature. So, you know, not every tree has to be brown with green leaves and so on. So I wanted to apply a little bit more of an openness to using brighter and cheery colours in nature rather than just earth tones and earthy colours. So I've done that and I'm really pleased with myself, because I'm not one to go back to a pencil case, as you may know. I like to pick my pencils and then that's it. And I thought to myself when I got to these acorns, I kind of wanted them to wanted to do them an acorn colour, so in that respect I weren't really stretching myself. However, I don't have any browns in my tray, but I used black grape. I used excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. I used black grape and what was the other colour? Ah, this one, this red. No, that's not red. That's not red, Joe. This red, mahogany red, black grape, and a little bit of, I think it was this, clay rose. But I just love this colour for an acorn in autumn. It's, do you know what I mean? And then this on top is black grape with a bit of white pencil. So I'm learning, you know, I'm trying things out and I'm learning, but I love that colour, this colour combo for these acorns. So I'm chuffed with myself that I've kind of discovered that. I weren't enjoying this flower, if you remember, and I've not, just need to work on wax pencil work, I think. But overall, I'm loving the image now, and I love my colour palette as well. Also, I've discovered, just the reason I started filming was because I've just discovered these here are Prismacolors, these two. So jade green and celadon green at the bottom here, and I just wanted a little bit of a brighter green in some places, and so I went in with this Chromaflow that I'd picked out, Basil 1600, and I have to say, weirdly, on top, I always want to call them Chromaflows on top of Prismacolor feel fantastic. They feel better than without, you know, than directly onto paper, which I wasn't expecting. But they're certainly not as smushy, but they go lovely on the top of Prismacolor, so I'm really, really chuffed about that. And that's something I'll bear in mind, that maybe when it comes to me working, obviously when I'm using my polychromos, I'm just going to stick to polychromos because I don't know how oil pencils mix with, you know, more wax based pencils on the paper. But certainly when I'm doing a page where I want to use Prismas or Chromaflows, I won't limit myself. I'll just pick my palette from both, you know, from both sets. Not everybody's, you know, got that luxury, which I appreciate. But for me, if I'm not colouring for you guys, what does it matter? I might as well do that, haven't I? So yeah, I love the way that Chromaflow feels on top of Prismacolor. So what we're going to do now then, I say we, I mean me. Try and stay in lines a little bit there, Joe. I'm going to finish the foliage at the bottom of this page. And then I'm going to add some more to the house, you know, the doorway. And then I'm going to do this lawn area, if that's what we want to call it. And I've got some ideas of what I think I'd like it to be snowfall on that lawn area. So we'll see how that goes. Just to tie it to these greens here a little bit more. This green is the green that's on these trees here, which by the way I love the effect I've got on them. So I've done a little blue edge. A little blue edge on them like the snow here, but I've indicated a little bit of the tree underneath with some green, and I love that. I love this blue with these greens. That's pleasing to me. I've forgotten where I was now. Where was I on this page? And then when we've done that, I'm going to move on to finishing touches. So yeah, I'm really sorry that I didn't take you through that whole process of filming these. With every set of videos, or you know, with every video or every colour along, I'm adapting and you know, just developing myself as a creator, as a creator of content, colouring content. You know, it's a learning curve. It's very different. It's different to a lot of content because you do actually have to be able to colour a page at the same time, and you don't know. I've never timed myself how long it takes me to colour. Have you? Do you guys know how long it would take you to do, say, a mythographic page or a Rita Berman page? I couldn't even begin to guess because I just don't time myself. But then when you're recording yourself for YouTube, you know, it's something that you start thinking about, like, wow, I am really slow. That's what I've realised. I am a super slow colourist. But in reality, when you're not working on film, it doesn't matter how long it takes, does it? Doesn't matter. Unless you've given yourself 42 pages to complete in 2 months. Who on earth would do a daft thing like that? Me. So, since you saw me last then, not since you saw me last, but since I took that break when my husband came home, we had a lovely dinner. And I didn't get back to my colouring because I then went on and did my first ever live. So I might have been talking about that earlier on in this episode, but yeah, in the course of this episode I've actually done it. So I went on and we allocated the pages to the 50 people who are collaborating on this Winter Wonder full book project that we're doing as a gift to RJ. So yes, did my first live. It went alright. I haven't downloaded any specific software because I don't understand all that jazz yet. I just did it, you know, I had my phone up here recording me. I was doing whatever I needed to do down here. And I was watching the chat on my laptop, which was here, sort of. And it seemed to work, actually. So I don't think there's any reason I can't just do lives now. Obviously, New Year I might look to getting more, you know, getting more slick and having fancy graphics and stuff on screen. And I know people use certain software for live streaming, but I don't know what they're using it for, whether that's what they're using it for. I'm sure there's fancy stuff you can do. But yeah, just a straight live, I can definitely do them now. So now I know how to do it. So I look forward to some of you guys joining me in a chat soon. You know, if you're passing and you see me, stop and say hello. If you see me on a live, that's what I'm there for. And I was just talking to a couple of people earlier, actually, who I've been in contact with a bit lately, and we're always talking about our colourings and things like that. And it got me thinking about the fact that there is a lot of colourists out there. We were talking about buddy experiences, and there's a lot of colourists out there that are looking for colouring friendships, just like I was. But for whatever reason, they're not finding them. So it might be that there's no specific group that they belong to. So they're just like scrolling through Instagram and commenting, but they're not getting that real connection with people like you do when you're chatting, you know, back and forth. For example, in a chat group or one-on-one, like when you're buddying. And not every pair of buddies is Chatty. You know, some people buddy. I'm not a big chatter because I always think, am I annoying the person? So I'm very conscious of how annoying I am. This is true though. I'm really conscious about how annoying I am. So I will want to contact somebody and I'll probably hold back and not do so because I just think, oh, you know, they're probably busy and they're probably thinking, God, I wish she'd bugger off. So, and I'm sure that's not the case, but yeah, so I was talking to a couple of ladies about it in the last day or so. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a chat group on Instagram, and it's going to be the Pig Pen, obviously, and the Pig Pen will welcome anybody at all who's into colouring that just wants to find new connections and friendships. So what the Pig Pen will be ideal for, so the space will be ideal for you if you are looking, you want some advice on a page you're colouring, for example, but you don't really want to ask the whole of the internet, but you just want to ask a few friends who are into colouring. And unless you have friends that are into colouring already, that's a bit of a struggle for you, because what are your options? You can post it on Facebook, then everybody in that Facebook group seeing it. Or, I mean, what else can you do? You can put it on your own page, can't you, on your own socials, but then everybody sees it. Sometimes you just want to ask half a dozen people their opinion. So if that's you, this little chat group that I'm going to set up on Instagram will be ideal for you. As I said, I say we, it's only me. I'm going to call it the Pig Pen. So that's what I'll be inviting you to, if you want to join it when I've set it up. I'll definitely put something out about it when I do. It'll also be good for if you're... Some people love colouring, but some people love YouTubing colouring content. You know, they like, consuming content. So a lot of you guys will colour while you sat on the sofa watching content. So it might just be that you want to be part of what's part of the content. You know, you're part of... If you regularly watch me, you're part of my community that's around this channel. So that community belongs to you as well. So it's a space if you just enjoy the kind of content that I do, and so far you've been commenting, but there's no real outlet for you to chat to other people in comments. I want you to have that space in the Pig Pen. So it'll just be an Instagram chat group, but for those people who just enjoy chatting, if you're not into chatty chat groups, it's probably not going to be for you, because we won't be asking. I'm not going to be moderating anything. I don't want it to have any moderation, really. It's not Facebook. Leave all that to them on Facebook. All that moderating stuff. We're adults. Just if we treat each other like we would treat each other in real life, if we saw each other in the street, everything will be alright, won't it? So there'll be none of that moderation stuff. I won't be in there all the time, but I will be sometimes. For example, when I want to ask your guys' opinion on something without having to put it on my whole page. So yeah, I think it'll be a nice little community space. And as I was saying, if you like my content, I think you're probably going to find people who share similar personality traits in there. You know, easygoing, laid-back folk. But yeah, I imagine it could get quite chatty, but that's what it's for. If you're somebody who's, say you're a single mum, maybe you spend a bit of time on your own in the day, who are you talking to? Not everybody has loads of friends. I don't have loads of friends. That's why I came looking for friendship here. I've got a best friend, but I don't live near it anymore. That's the shame of it. So So yeah, I've got a lot out of coming to YouTube for friendship, so I want to kind of share it with you guys as well. So I thought, yeah, I'll create this little space for us on Instagram. It'll be up in a day or so because it's just a chat group, but I'll just take some time to put something out on my socials to sort of explain about its existence, and then you can all just come in and join me. I guess it's like having a Discord attached to a Patreon, except for I'm not charging you anything, you know. We're just going to be sociable because we want to be sociable. Yeah, and some people I know that, I'm not saying people are lonely, but I can talk to my husband about colouring to a certain point, but then, you know, he's not as understanding as you would be about things. So if I ask him opinion on a colour palette, his experience of even thinking about colour is limited. So yes, I think it's a cracking idea. And it doesn't need to be a raging success, does it? It's just there if we want it. If only half a dozen people are in there, it's not been any effort to set up, has it? So what does it matter? It's half a dozen more people that you've got to talk to than you had before. Facebook groups are alright, aren't they? But you don't really. I've tried making friends on Facebook. I've mentioned this in another video, so I'm sorry if you've heard me, and I'm now repeating myself. But I've tried making colouring friends on Facebook, but they don't even allow you to bloody exchange details with anybody in comments. It's just, for me, it's a bit ridiculous. That's why I like Chromatic Collective, because it's a bit more sensible, you know, like, they're not, the guys who are running Chromatic Collective, I don't think they're out for massive group growth. They're just like me. They just wanted to come together with like-minded people. So they're not, if you say, oh, do you want to message me about that? This is what my handle is on Instagram. That's fine in Chromatic Collective because it just makes sense. Whereas in other Facebook groups, they're terrified that we'll get in touch. And I'm not talking about all, but a lot of the group admins on Facebook groups. It's like they're terrified that we're going to make friends. They're terrified that we're going to contact each other outside their group. I honestly don't understand it. I don't. Maybe you can tell me what I'm missing. But yeah, I find it perplexing. I understand that they're quite tight on self-promotion, because I've been collared a few times for it, and I weren't promoting myself. I just stated something in the post. I was talking about when I did chaos colouring, which is a video on my channel, and I was so impressed with myself and proud of myself for putting myself out there and being super vulnerable. And I posted my picture on Facebook in this group I was in, and I said I put my big girl pants on, and I even filmed it for my channel. I didn't like drop a link or say what my channel were called, but then they messaged me and asked me not to promote my channel on the Facebook group, and I thought, I didn't even promote it. You wouldn't have even known how to find it. And not a kick in teeth, but it was a bit like, it turned me off massively. I just thought, you've so misunderstood where I'm the kind of person I am. But they must have, you know, it must be because they have their fingers burnt. But what is the harm? I suppose if people are spamming, if people are spamming the group, that's not good. But that's not something I'd ever do. I wouldn't have thought any normal adults would, to be honest, but you don't know, do you? But yeah, so I'm not big on Facebook groups, I'm afraid, for that reason. Apart from Chromatic Collective, those guys have got it right. They're running it sensibly. they're thinking like normal human beings who are into colouring, for goodness sake. Do we really need a boatload of rules when we're just talking about colouring? So yes, and the weird thing is I was always really pro Facebook, and I'm quite new to Instagram, and I'm really new to YouTube, but I'm pretty new to Instagram as well. But no, I feel like I found my tribe over on YouTube and Instagram, and Facebook just won't understanding me at all. Do you know, the daft thing is social media were meant to bring us together, and now on Facebook, bloody group admins are doing everything they can to keep us a bloody apart. Don't get it. Don't get it. How did I get onto this subject? Yeah, so we're going to have this chat group on Instagram called the Pig Pen, and all people are welcome. Don't ever be sat at home wishing you could talk to somebody about anything. You can always come to the Pig Pen, and it doesn't even have to be about colouring. And just to reiterate, it's probably not going to be a place if you don't like lively chat, but you can mute the group, you know, you can mute the chat, so you don't really get the notifications and stuff. Just remember that. So yeah, maybe I'll probably have that set up tonight when I'm in bed. This is me, look, I've been colouring that leaf for 10 minutes talking, yapping. I know I want to have these, a bit of red in these leaves here. So we'll do these next. Tell you what takes some getting used to when you're using wax and when you're more used to oil is how often you have to sharpen your blooming pencils. It's massively different, isn't it? So I should stop and sharpen this one. How's your page coming along? Right, so let's talk about this page for a second in respect of how you've been getting on. Tell me about it. What did you do? What is this floating leaf here? Have you noticed this? If you're colouring this page, what is this floating leaf here? And what have you done with that? I've just put in basket, in my old Amazon basket, one of my buddies just showed me her completed page for our buddy, and it's beautiful. The colours, the colour palette, she's made some really intelligent choices, I think. Colouring, you know, she understands colour, I think. But she's also used some of this, what's it called? Begins with F. Folk Art Extreme Glitter hologram. So I've put some of that in my basket because I thought, wow, I wish I had that today, because it made her snow look awesome, you know, really glistening. And I don't have that, but I've got my stickles, so we'll try a bit of stickles. So yeah, folk art. Has anybody heard of that? Folk Art Extreme Glitter. And when I looked as well, they've got a range of different colours, so I fancy having a little bit of a look later. Maybe getting myself some, you know, rather than like chewing over it, because we're getting into winter now, I might as well have it ready for all the snowy pages I'm going to be doing, aren't I? That's my thinking. I love this red. I love this red in these Prismas, and I'm quite sure, I don't think there's exactly that in the polys. I might be wrong, but it's really beautiful, and you'll be getting a totally different colour on camera. I was watching Axic Fumbles again. Sorry, I always go on about a channel, but it's just because she's probably one of my favourites. Annika at Axic Fumbles, and she was showing a picture. I don't even know if it were an old video or not, or a new one, but she was showing a picture of some skin she'd done on, it might have been in the Pride and Prejudice book that she's got actually, and the camera light on the skin, it looks beautiful, the picture, and the skin on the woman looks beautiful as well. But she was sort of saying it don't look anything like it does on camera, and I thought, oh, that's such a shame. And it's true, I've noticed it. And then she took a photograph of it and put it, you know, in the edit, and then she put it on screen. Totally different. So I know what you're looking at probably won't look too much like what I'm looking at the moment. This red, this mahogany red in Prismacolors, I think it's a gorgeous colour. Blooming gorgeous. Yeah, it's growing on with this page. I think it's been through, I feel like it's been through at least 12 ugly stages. It's been a bit of a roller coaster as this colour along for me emotionally, in terms of how I feel about this page. But I'm liking it again. Look, I forget myself how new I am to colouring. And just because I blooming stuffed, just because I studied graphic design 30 years ago, you know, just out of high school, it wasn't university. And just because I used to like drawing as a kid, I think I expect too much from myself. Sometimes I have to kind of tell myself, remember, you're only just starting, Joe. You know, and go easy a bit on myself sometimes. I don't like it when I don't like to feel like I don't know how to rectify a situation, because I'm usually quite good at, I'm a solution finder. So there were times, certainly in part one, when I were working on this page, that I just wasn't happy with them luminance. It were bothering me. It were bothering me a lot. But you know, we're past that now, so it's all good. I'm gonna have to revisit the luminance though at another time. I'm gonna try them again, maybe on some better paper. Paper in this book's good though, but it's not like the paper in Fairy Tales and Folklore, for example, which is where I've had good experiences with luminance. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to keep I'm just gonna have to keep colouring, which is, you know, my plan anyway. So. I'm quite chuffed with myself, because when my husband sort of treats me to a lot of my pencil sets, and I've bought some myself and things like that, and he would half expecting me, he thought, because he knew how much I love my polychromos, which were my first pencils I got as an adult, you know, this time round, and he said, you'll get these pencils, love, and I know you'll be just using your favourites all the time, and I'm so proud of myself because I haven't done that. I do cycle through my pencils purposefully. So don't get me wrong, if a page I think will work better with that pencil, that's what I'll use. But on the whole, I probably want to use Polychromos next, or my Castle Arts Harmonious. Every so often I'll have a yearning to get them out. So yes, that's me. I've got a little bit of background space here, so I'm just going to put my really dark blue in there, I think. You know, just to lose it as foreground. Just knock it back a bit. And what do we think to this bit here? What is that bit there? Do we think it'll be that colour? Yeah, wax is a lot more messy, isn't it? Well, it is how I use it. With a vice-like grip. Let's put this ground in. Then I'm going to do some colour on these clouds at the top. Reflected, you know. I'm going to reflect some of the colour in those clouds. I need my door frame and things on. What do we think this is? Is this some sort of tree? I'll put the actual black line art back in with maybe a white gel pen or something else, but I don't really know what that is, so I need to think about that. I think first thing I will do is sharpen this. Let's get some door frames. On this little cabin. Yeah, it has been a roller coaster, this page. Sometimes I've felt really uptight and concerned that, you know, about whatever I'm not enjoying, whether it be my Luminance or trying to get to grips with Prismas or Rita's illustration style. And then half an hour later I'm loving it. It's it's just, that's colouring for you, isn't it, I suppose. That is colouring. But yeah, there's been times when I haven't felt uptight, that I've felt really free. Like now, I don't know what I'm doing around these frames. I'm just trying something out. Whatever I feel the urge to do as a normal habit, I'm trying to do less and just try different things. Just adding some different colour. That is one good thing about wax pencils, isn't it? You can kind of like just smush over things. To a certain degree anyway. I certainly wouldn't be able to do that so boldly with my polychromos. What colour door? So I've got, do you want to know what page I've got in the RJ collaboration? No, I shouldn't call it that because we're not collaborating with RJ. It's a collaboration of 50 colourists working on Winter Wonder by RJ Hampson. And my page is one called A Warm Heart, and I really like it. There were loads of pages I liked even more, but I like a lot of the pages in this book. So most of them I would actually find quite, you know, I'd be excited to colour in Winter Wonder. Has anybody got Winter Wonder? Have you noticed how he has levelled up the duplicates with a difference? I'll show you. This is why I'm a slow colourer, because I go off on tangents, don't I? So the colouring page that I've got is this one. So it's the one that the cover has come from, which I think is lovely. I mentioned in my flip through how wonderful I thought he had he's got a great grasp on like flow of things, hasn't he, like that. You'll notice in all his filigree stuff. So I'm chuffed to bits. Little birdhouse. Look at these little 3 cuties, 4, 5. 5 little cuties and a mummy or daddy bird. So, and I'm going to respectfully, just this once, I want to try and pay homage to this cover. Actually, I don't know, I'm sure, will he have coloured this or will somebody else have done that? I'm sure he would have done it himself, wouldn't he? Might be digitally done, you know, just the adding the colour bit. Or maybe it's a print of, I don't know how it works, but I'm definitely going to go for that because I like this orange of these, with these colours, and that green's really a kind of green I love. So yeah, I think I'm going to try and pay homage to that, but maybe give it a little twist. So this is my page. And yeah, this is what I was saying, is really levelled up with duplicates of a difference. They're not hard to spot. They're really, if anybody thinks, oh, it gives us 25 pages and then just 25 at the same page, I really don't feel that way, especially with this book. So just for example, look at this one that I did for my colour along. Don't know how far zoomed in I am. Yeah, so take a look at that. Very important delivery this one's called. And then this image, this page in the back end of the book is significantly different, and that's what you'll find with most of these now. It's a totally different character. Now you've got the postman, the frogs instead of it being down, oh no, it's still there, but there's another frog leaping in front side now. It's just, you know, significantly different. And I think, don't remember this, no, yeah, this line here is different. So yeah, and that's the same for quite a few of them. I noticed the I won't go, I'll try not to go on, you know what I'm like, this is totally different. Rear window, and then you look at it, trying to work out where it is. Look, totally different scene outside. So it's not just give us 25 at same. I mean, I never thought that anyway. But they're not even duplicates of the difference. For me, they're almost different drawings. They're similar, but they're not the same with a tiny twist anymore. He's really put loads of effort in to make them. So we've got 50 pages. We have got 50 pages, not 25. We've got 50 pages. So good on you, RJ. You never ever let us down. You never fail us. Not that he watches this channel, I wouldn't imagine. But you know, if I can telepathically tell him, good on you. So yes, I'm excited about that. And I'm gonna make the video really cool. So I'm gonna record myself flipping through the book, and then you'll see the empty page for a second, and then you'll see the colorist's coloured page. So I think it'll be a really cool video as well. And we had a lot of fun on the live doing the draw that way. That's on my, I think that's on my page, on my channel actually. If it interests you, I don't know why it would, but if it just interests you, that's there. Right, now then, if it's night, what we're doing with these windows. I should have thought of that before I drew the doodah. I might leave that till finishing touches. What I will do though is I'll just put a slight shadow in them. Something made rocket jump then. There's nobody at the door. It's very sensitive when he's relaxing to any little knock or sound. Right, I want to get this floor done because I've already been here too long, I think. Not that I mind, but my memory on my phone will mind. Right, so what I want to try and do with this is want to indicate a little bit of snowfall. So I thought I'd start out with the blue. Because Rita's given us some of these little indications of some long grasses coming through. I don't like leaving white so much on the pit. I will do it. If it looks okay, it doesn't bother me. But because I think what happens is you know that you haven't got any coloured pencil in that area, and I think it bothers you more than it would probably bother somebody looking at it. And then what do we do in the other areas where she hasn't given us an indication of what's there? Do we just... just give an impression. Is it looking like snow? I'm always winging it, me, aren't I? I was saying before, that I should maybe watch some tutorials myself. I don't mind experimenting. Not every page has to be a masterpiece. I'd rather it was. Might as well be honest, I'd rather it was. But... and I'm only talking about a masterpiece in my own eyes. I've talked about this before as well, but there's a lot of comparison to others in our it's not in so much a negative way, but we all do compare ourselves to other people, don't we? And we really shouldn't. We really shouldn't. I'm gonna try something, right? I've got these, and I've not even so much as swatched them yet, because I was going to save them for a video, because these are a very special gift from a very special subscriber who said that he's got a full set and he thinks they're great. Happy early birthday, my friend. From Derek Liston, who is the guy that runs Chromatic Collective along with Adrienne. So I'm going to have a little... I was thinking... these are Faber-Castell Pitt pens. How generous is that? I sewed in after that. I were 50% appalled and 50% thrilled when this came through the door, because I had no idea. I was kind of hoping my husband might get me them. I didn't think for a minute that, you know, one of you guys would have tricked me. But I'm bowled over, to say the very least, so thank you so much, Derek. I'm super excited. This is my first touch, so I thought I might be able to give some indication of grass with them, because this is the earth tone set, which is the set I wanted first of all. So these are India ink. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great, isn't it? I can already tell. So let me just have a little practice, getting my little flickage in. Let me have some flickage practice. Yeah. So yeah, India ink. You can do lots with them as well, and if you're quick, you can also, you know, activate them with water. But it's like if you're not familiar with them, or India ink, it being ink rather than... it's like using Inktense. You know, Inktense will stain and you can't reactivate it and dissolve it again. but if you're quick, you can use water with it. I was watching some YouTube videos last night, Derek, actually, after these arrived, and the people were doing beautiful drawings with them and all sorts, and then also using them to colour. So they were using them like this way on the side for colouring, and then activating them with water, or just, and then you've got the fine end as well. They're just, I think they're going to be a really useful part of my my colouring kit. So I'm absolutely overjoyed. It's one of those things that I had on my, what I call my Joe's list of things that I don't need, but that I'd like. So yeah, I've not checked myself because I hadn't used them before. I didn't know whether they were for me, but I can already see so many different ways I'm going to be able to use them on my colouring pages, so I'm absolutely delighted to have them. Cheers, Derek, it absolutely made my day. I'm not, do you know, I gift, in life in general, I love giving gifts. Get a lot of pleasure out of it, seeing people receive things that I've given them, you know, Christmas, birthdays, whatever. But these days, since my mum died, I rarely am on the other end of it, because me and my husband, we treat each other all year round. So to get an actual birthday gift that I can open, like physically, something I can hold in my hand, I'm dead chuffed about it. So thanks a lot. Right, I'm going to take that pen out, actually. What are you putting away for, Joe? I'm going to use it on my grass. So don't get me wrong, this isn't the best use of them. These pens are so awesome. They're going to do all sorts for me. But right now, I'm going to break myself in gently and illustrate some extra little grassy bits. So, holding my breath. Ever so light. I'm going where, oops, a bit big that one. I'm going where Rita went. Oh, I like it. Yeah, I've received a couple, because it's running up to my birthday. I've been treated by my husband a little bit to a few things, and I've treated myself, and I've received some lovely gifts, some lovely giddy mail, as I call it, because it makes me giddy. So I've received some lovely giddy mail, which I'm going to actually share with you. I don't normally do hauls, but as it's my birthday, and I've got a really special something to show you that I found. Absolute bargain that I want to obviously show you. I have to remember when I'm doing, like, you always have to remember perspective, don't you, when you're doing things like this. As things get further away, they get smaller, Joe, so don't forget that. Now I've started using these pens, I just want to carry on. I can go overboard here. So I'm going to leave it at that. Restraint, Joanne, restraint. But yeah, aren't they a beautiful set of pens? So I'm going to slowly collect them, I think, because I can just see so many uses for them. And do you know, oftentimes when I'm doing a colouring page, I'm short of that pen, and I go to my fine liners. I have got some fine liners, but they were quite cheap, and they're a bit scratchy, and I don't often get out of them what I wanted to get out of them, and I think it's probably just the thickness of the nib, and these are just the perfect, you know, for little details. So they feel like a softer end to a fine liner. They're not hard. They feel quite soft, so you can be quite painterly with them. But yeah, I'm overjoyed. Thank you so much, Derek, and I'll treasure that, and every time I use them I'll think of you. Derek is at the Colouring Merce, and check out Chromatic Collective if you want to find a friendly space on Facebook, because there is no better. So yes, I'm happy with my little grassy bits, poking through snow. Fab. And now I want to come up to these clouds. Don't forget we've got finishing touches to go, so I haven't lost my mind. I'm not saying this is the end. I want to kind of have a little bit of a reflection of all these lovely colours in these clouds. Just on the underside where Rita's indicated some shading for us already with these lines. So I'm going to have a little bit of this amethyst colour here. Maybe a wee touch of pink, but not much. I thought we were going to use a lot more pink on this page, but it just didn't turn out that way. So yeah, Derek, if you happen to be watching this video, I've got plans for a video coming up soon, and I'm going to be using them properly. So I'm saving my swatching for them as well, because I'm excited. It's nice. You know, I'm not short of anything really. I've got everything I need in life and in colouring supplies, so I don't need anything. But that kind of thing excites me. You know, it's a product just let Rocket out. It's a product I've kept looking at. And I was talking to my husband about a month ago, and I said, where had he gone? He says, oh, there's an Hobbycraft here. And I said, if they've got any pit pens, let me know, have a little look. And he did as usual, he surprised me, but what he'd come home with was pit pastel pencils in a tin, which I've got here. Not that one. These 12 pit pastel pencils. So it didn't get what I were after, but it was lovely to have these and try these out as well. So these are a really an unusual thing, I think, because I'm used to a fat pastel in my hand, but to have like a pastel pencil, it's quite different. But yeah, they're nice. So yeah, he just saw the word pit and he thought I'd got the right product, bless him, but he don't know, does he? Don't expect him to know. And gelatos, I'm fascinated by gelatos. Now, I think they're wax crayons, aren't they? Just editing Joe here to tell you that I say wax crayons repeatedly through this little bit, and I really mean gel crayons. Two totally different things. I'm talking about gel crayons. So I've got some wax crayons in mind that I think I might treat myself to, but they're cheaper. Because I thought gelatos are quite expensive, aren't they? That's a bit of an investment if you've not tried wax crayons before, if that's what they are. So I was looking for some shuttle art ones that I saw Jackie at Spare Room Studio using, but I found some the same size set, a 48 set. The one she had we don't have on Amazon UK, but we've got a 48 set of King Art. I don't think I've ever had anything by King Art. Are you familiar with the brand? Is anybody familiar with King Art? Are they any good? Because I'm thinking of getting their 48 pack of wax crayons. Not wax crayons. Have I been saying wax crayons through this whole thing? I mean gel crayons. That'll be so annoying, because you'll have been shouting at screen, won't you? Especially if you're listening. I mean, I can put a correction on screen, but you won't see it. So yeah, I meant gel crayons. A little bit of blue, I think I'd like. Yeah, gel crayons. Not bloody wax crayons, crikey. If I've got wax crayons, I use them with my granddaughter. But yeah, so I've seen some King Art gel crayons, 48 set. That I'm thinking about getting before I invest in something like gelatos, if indeed I even need to. But I've never had anything by the King Art brand, so let me know your experience of King Art. Okay, I'm happy with these clouds. Steady on, Joe, leave some white. Yay. Right then, it's like we're getting to the finish. I'm not keen on this. I suppose it goes, doesn't it? But I'd have liked to sorry, let me just get my shaking out up there. I would have liked a fluffier plume of smoke. So, I mean, if you were on my last colour along on that witchy page, you'll remember I did this and nearly ruined my candle. But I'd like a softer plume of smoke. So I'm going to take out most of the line work. Maybe just change its shape a touch. I'm a fan of this just dotting method with Posca. Don't mind the effect it gives me, like quite a fluffy effect. I hate when your page bounces up like that. I suppose I've got a bit of a wrinkling from when I use Neocolor 2s. I like it a little better. The other thing I was thinking about is whether I wanted to take out the top. Might try it, because if I don't try it I'll wonder. The top edge of the cloud, which is something I like to do now and again. When I do it, I don't mind leaving bottom edge. Just like to fluff up the top edge. It's like adding an additional highlight, because obviously we've got a shading on the top. You do what you think looks best on your pages. You know, you're not. If we all thought the same, it surely would be dull. Do I want to do the same on these bits or not? I'm having a real liking at the moment to people's pages where they're totally taking out all the line work. It's not something I've done yet, because I sometimes think I struggle with gel pens, May. I got that big massive set of Languo and all that were going on, but they're too skinny. I know they've got different ones out now, but if I'd have known I would have waited, but I've got these ones now, so I'm not getting any more. And they're really skinny and scratchy, and it's a shame, because if they were thicker, well, it's not the flow, because if you don't put too much pressure, the flow's fine, but I still find them just a bit skinny, a bit thin. If you are into gel pens, Axic Fumbles, Annika at Axic Fumbles on YouTube, she's had loads and she uses the gel pens quite a bit in her work. And she's used the skinny ones, the new fatter ones. I was watching a video the other day where she kind of compared them all. It was really good. You know, if you're going to splash out and really treat yourself, but are thinking which shall I go for, I would definitely maybe search gel pens under Axic's channel, because she gives really good close-ups, you know, and like the effect you get from each one. So yes. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just giving an, because my page has got a little bit dirty as well. This just is re-whitening some areas, whilst giving me a nice fluffy snowy top, if you know what I mean. All right, chicken. It's cold outside, isn't it? I knew you wouldn't want to stay out there. Blooming freezing at the moment here, really cold. I mean, not if you live in Siberia. I can't obviously say it's, you know, in comparison that we've got it colder than you. But it's really cold. I've got a cold snap in the UK at the moment, I think. All right. I know, sweetheart, I know. And I'm going to do the same here. Take out this line where the snow's going up to the cabin. There we go. Do I want to put any little bits around here? Maybe. So I should remind you as well, don't forget, if you finish this page, if you've done this page with me, get it to me for, I can't remember what date I said. We're going to welcome winter in. If I get you know, a number of them, if there's quite a few of them that have completed this page while you've been listening to this little two-parter or watching it, I'd love to do that again, make a nice video, put it out 1st of December to welcome in winter. So I would say get it to me by maybe close of play 30 days after September. I've done this before. I don't retain information right well now. 30 days after September, April, June and November. So say like 27th, close of play 27th. So I can get it edited. Just a straight down shot. I'll make sure all your handle goes on screen and everything. The social media stuff. Right, so that's my Posca bits done. I've got these gel pens in a jelly roll set I've had for quite a while and not really used. So I was thinking about, let's see if I can add some little pops with these, but they might not be right colour. Could get my Langos out, couldn't I? But I think you might have heard me say before that sometimes I think I sort of, instead of elevating my page, I do the opposite, because with new gel pen editions, because I think sometimes they can, I don't know what the right word is, the opposite of elevate. They can lower the do you know what I mean? Can make it look a little bit more amateurish, but I think this is a page with all this colour where I can have a little bit of fun. So I am an amateur anyway, so it's alright, isn't it? I could have picked a perfect match from that Lango set, but these jelly rolls, they feel glorious, don't they, in comparison to them skinny Langos. Alright, I forgot about you, didn't I, sweetie? I'll let you in now. He's got his chicken. What am I going to do with lighting these windows then? I should be going back to my pencil case and getting some yellows out. Is what I should be doing. Yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with colour on this page. Alright, he's got a new toy. His dad brought him home a blooming. Here, shows your toy. Give it to mummy. Good boy. Let me just give it to mummy. He pretends he didn't want me to take it. Look at the state of that. He absolutely loves it. £2. Yeah, I'm just going to add some. Let me just, in case I want to use a bit of my metallics, got some watercolours here. I'm just going to add some water to ahead of me wanting to use them. See, these colours don't necessarily work as a highlight, but I'm just thinking it's such a fun, you know, a fun page for colour. I might just, you know, I'm breaking the rules, man. Bit of white gel pen in. I'm going to do some metallics on these. Oh yeah, what am I going to do with these? I think I'll, whatever these are, I'll put back in some of this line. It was just a thin black line. Rocket, settle down a little bit, please. Pretty please. There we go. I'm sorry about noise in the background, guys. If you get some music, it's because he's gone really loud. He's having his funny half hour. You're having his silly half hour, aren't you? I just paused recording there while he went absolutely nuts for 5 minutes. Because I couldn't think straight myself. It's a young boy dog, full of energy. So I'm just adding some little white highlights on the tree. Oops, made that look quite phallic. Yeah, looks like a teat on a baby's bottle does that. Moving swiftly on, Joe. Bum, 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 bum. I think when you're doing your highlights on a page like Rita's as well, you don't have to worry about really the perfect place to put them, because her illustration style is quirky, isn't it? So you can add your own touches of quirkiness if you so wish. Doesn't it make a difference when you just pick, you know, like that little bit there was getting lost, wasn't it, in the background? You can just pick out bits with your white gel pen, and it just allows it to stand out a touch better. I hope it's nice for you that there's somebody kind of, I mean, I don't know what standard of colourist you consider yourself, but I hope that you find where I'm at relatable to you. I hope I have some people watching that are at the same stage as me. Do you get what I mean? Where, you know, you're still learning. Sometimes you do an awesome picture, sometimes, you know, you look at it and you still think, well, that shows I'm very much learning. See, I've put highlights underneath there, and I wouldn't have normally done that. Should have just been on the top edge. Not paying attention, but it don't matter. In this world, in Rita's world, it's all a bit quirky. We can do what we want. You are not going out again, mister. I know you're up to something in that garden. You think I don't know, and I do. I'm on to you. You have been rumbled. Yeah, I like the page now. Oh, you scared life out of me then, you dipstick. Good Lord, man. It's just people outside. Wind your neck in. Come here. Come here. Come here. What's all that about? It's unnecessary. Right, let's get mixing some of these watercolours up a little bit. So I've got the moon and the stars I want to focus on, but I happen to have got this lovely blue colour. So let me just see what it looks like. Yummy. Mix it up a little bit more. Mix it up a little bit more. Stopped enunciating my words again. There we go. Oh, got some of this greeny colour next. So that first one is called Sky Blue, and these are Pearl Colours watercolours by Calero. That's gorgeous as well. And then I've got a colour called Lagoon. These are just colours that I thought might be appropriate on this page with this colour palette. So this is Lagoon. Maybe a little bit more mixing. That's really nice, isn't it? Maybe good for a sea mermaid. These colours would be good for, wouldn't they? Mermaid. And then I've got a silver. Oh, that's lovely. I've got snow and that. Ooh, yeah, I might put a bit on my snow. Shall I risk it for a biscuit? That's quite inappropriate. Just a wee touch. Maybe a little dab on these end bits. So this is the silver so far. I use it quite thick, doesn't have to be this thick, but I like it quite thick. Just a little on the ends. I could also use the blue there as well, couldn't I? Dab a little in the snow. At this point, guys, I am just having fun. I hope you're having as much fun. You know, just remember, it should be fun. Do I think this is the best page I've done recently? No. But I'm really, really enjoying it. Now. So, oops. I'll tell you what I need for this. I need to do my toothpick trick. I'll put my watercolour on. I use the toothpick to drag it into, because I haven't got a brush. I could do with a really, really fine brush. If I spot one, I'll get it, but for now, I'm just using a toothpick. You know, when it comes to a sharp point like that, make sure I've got plenty of paint nearby and just drag it into the corner with my toothpick. That's my current hack. Just call me airy. Do you get it? How do you find airy line work? It's interesting that she did a line work with toothpicks, because you can tell, it's got that feel, hasn't it? I kind of like it. Not done much in me. I've only got one airy book, I think. Is Romantic Country airy? Well, that's what I've got anyway. And let's have a go with some of this blue. Toothpick on standby because I'm doing these stars. So start at the top, Joe. Pop a blob in like that. In fact, I bet I'm off camera. Blob of watercolour. Make sure I don't put my hand in my moon. And just drag your little blob of watercolour out with your toothpick. And then the next one. I mean, you could use a gel pen, but I really love the shine payoff you get with these Calero watercolours. I know there's other brands that are equally as good, but these are what I've got, so I don't need any more because I've got ample of these. So a blue one here, and this one. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Look, I'm going to put my hand in it. My husband's away for 2 nights. Tonight and tomorrow night. Going to Wales and back and Wales and back and Wales and back. So I'm missing him already. He left about 5 o'clock this morning. So you can see why I get so much pleasure out of, you know, my new friendships on YouTube and interacting with you guys. It's good company for me. So I'm not in a place in life at the moment where I want to be going out and seeing people too much, and just really happy to be at home, and you know, so it's lovely to have you guys. It's just been the best thing. The best thing. Let's have some green stars. Cosmic Man. Oh, lovely. I love that. Still using the same toothpick. Pulling it into the corners. It's amazing how even me who've got the old menopausal shakes, how accurate you can be. I feel like there's just a bit too much paint on that one. I've also got a mermaid colour, you know, one of them like shifting colours, but I just don't think it's right for this page. There we go. Is that all the stars? I think it is. Now then, let me just take a look. I think I'd like, I don't know what this is. There's some sort of tree in it. I think I'd like to give that some greeny bits. And again, I could use gel pen, but I've got these out, so I'm just gonna, while I've got them, as long as I can be gentle, I'm just gonna, you know, keep using them for my blingy bits. I'll have a different colour on that one. I think it'd be nice to add just a few, just tiny dots, oh, like little stars. Maybe that's snow. Maybe that's snow, not stars. I'm just taking my time to have a look. I think I want to add I've seen some places I need more gel pen, which I'd forgotten about. So just give that a minute to dry. So I've just been adding a few dotty bits around my flowers, which I like to do sometimes. Like baby's breath. That's what it's called, isn't it? The white stuff you get in a bunch of flowers. And again, I'm well aware that this is quite overboard on the white dotty bits, but I just love it. It always makes me feel like it's quite magical. And I'm gonna add a little bit of snow, I think, on these bits with my old panda fly white gel pen. Just a little bit, not too much. Be careful, Joe, some of this watercolour's not dry yet. Just so impatient. Be careful. yeah, it's a lot of fun, this. I don't know whether it's as, you know, when I think of some of my other pages, I don't know whether it's as grown up. But it's a lot of fun, and it's quite sweet, which is not normally my go-to for colouring. But it's, you know, I could get used to being a little bit more in touch with my sweet side. Problem is when you start putting little bits of snow on things, where do you stop? I went overboard with little dotty bits here, but I love it. All right, sweetheart. Okay, this is my sheet for my Artex acrylic markers. So let me just, oh, got the hiccups. Just buff out a little bit of this shadow that I put in. And that's in the wrong place. Do you know where that shadow should have been? Up in this corner, I think. Pains me to add a little bit of yellow actually, because I'm not gonna actually do too much, because quite often we focus a lot on the light, don't we? And we make a really pretty light feature in his pages, and that's what we all notice, and we all go, oh, look at the light, it's so beautiful. And I'm clearly not doing that here. Let me just stand up and take a look. Oh, I like it. Yeah. Let me zoom you out a little bit. In fact, I'll check it and let's get some light on this. It looks like it's going dark in here, but I've got blooming 3 lamps on this desk. 1 second. Well, I've taken a few minutes away from it, done a little bit of pottering around, and then I've come back to it, and that's usually what I do, and that normally tells me whether I'm happy with my page or not, when I've taken a little break away. Sometimes I leave it till next morning, but I am happy with this. So, you know, I'm still getting used to Prismas. They're a different beast to polys, so I'm quite happy with myself for persevering, even when I were using those Luminance and it went, you know, it weren't feeling comfortable. I love the colour palette. In the end, I don't think this is a problem. You know, in part 1 where I was really worried about this sort of family of blues with this sort of blues, with these sort of blues in the background. But I actually think it's fine. So I'll just show you a closer look at the page. So that's my Neocolor 2s in the background around the cabin. Those 3 different blues that I used in like a mottling, dappling effect. I don't know, I'm still finding my style. This isn't what I would say my usual style was, but I've enjoyed it, and me to have a nice colourful page amongst the pages I complete, I'm really pleased with that. But yeah, I'm going to keep practicing with my pencils. I love how I've used the watercolours, the metallic watercolours at the end there. See if I can give it a little bit of a shimmy. It's always hard in, everything's better in daylight, isn't it? You can see the snow shimmering there on them trees. So yeah, I don't think it's like, you know, my most sophisticated page, but I'm really happy with it, and when I look at it, it makes me smile. So, you know, it can't be bad, can it, if it has that effect on me? Yes, I love those shiny bits. I'm a sucker for shiny bits. Yeah, please send me your completed pages by the 27th, and I'll include them in a cool little video welcoming winter into our colouring world in the, well, certainly in the northern hemisphere. The more I'm looking at it, the more I'm liking it. So yeah, I'm chuffed with it. And I hope you feel the same about yours. Thank you for keeping me company. It's been a long one, this. So I'll do another colour along next month. Who knows what it will be in. And as always, please join me for the company, if nothing else. That'd be wonderful. So that only leaves me to say, as always, ta-da for now! Hey up, don't forget about the Pig Pen, the new community chat group over on Instagram. Still, the best place to find me is in the comments section of the video you've just watched. So if you want to get hold of me, I do check the comments daily underneath my videos, whereas the chat, I might be in and out a little bit more irregularly. All right, see you next time.